Have you ever wondered how the credit crunch of 2024 affected wealth transfer? This unsettling question has prompted many individuals to ponder the ripple effects of this financial tsunami. It marks a critical chapter in our economic history, a period marked by increasing personal debt and escalating panic over wealth transfer. Understanding this event is crucial as it reshaped our financial landscape, influencing decisions and policies that remain relevant today. So let's unravel this mystery together. Stay with us as we untangle the intricate web of the 2024 credit crunch. To understand the present, we must first look to the past. Our journey through time begins in the early 2000s, a period characterized by relative economic stability and optimistic outlooks for the future. The credit card sector was rapidly expanding, and people were spending more than ever before. However, beneath the surface, a silent storm was brewing. As we swiftly entered the year 2012, the world was emerging from the grip of a global financial crisis. Central banks around the globe were implementing policies to stimulate economic growth. In the United States, the Federal Reserve slashed interest rates, making borrowing cheaper than ever before, leading to an explosion in credit card debt. Fast forward to 2019, and the world stood on the brink of a new financial crisis triggered by a global pandemic. In response, governments worldwide pumped trillions of dollars into their economies. As a result, consumers found themselves once again buried in debt. By 2022, the first warning signs of an impending credit crunch began to emerge. Credit card default rates began to rise, and financial experts voiced concerns about the sustainability of an economy fueled by debt. By 2023, the situation worsened as unemployment rates surged, and individuals struggled to meet their credit card payments. The economic indicators were clear. A credit crunch was imminent, and finally, in 2024, it happened. The bursting of the credit card debt bubble led to a significant wealth transfer and sparked panic worldwide. The credit crunch had arrived, and its effects were devastating. So what led us to this point? It was a combination of factors: economy policies encouraging borrowing, a culture promoting spending, and a series of global financial crises straining the global economy. As we've seen, the credit crunch was not an overnight event. It was a culmination of numerous factors. You may ask, what were the catalysts that led to this financial disaster? Well, let's take a look at the fundamental factors that contributed to the credit crunch of 2024. The first factor was excessive borrowing. In the years leading up to the crisis, people began to take on more debt than they could realistically repay. Credit card debt was treated like a ticking time bomb, ready to explode at any moment. This trend of overborrowing was largely fueled by a culture of instant gratification, where people wanted everything here and now without considering the long-term financial consequences. Then low interest rates played a significant role. Central banks worldwide kept interest rates at historic lows to stimulate economic growth. This made borrowing cheaper, and people took full advantage of it. However, what they failed to realize was that these low interest rates were a double-edged sword. While making borrowing attractive, they also encouraged irresponsible borrowing, leading to a skyrocketing increase in credit card debt. Last but not least, weak financial regulation was a significant catalyst. Regulatory agencies failed to tightly control lending practices. Credit card companies and banks were given the freedom to lend as much as they wanted to whoever they wanted, with little regard for the borrower's ability to repay. This lack of oversight created a dangerous environment where default risk became a ticking time bomb. Additionally, the lack of financial education among the general population also played a role. Many people were unaware of the risks of excessive borrowing and the consequences of being unable to repay their debts. This ignorance further fueled the credit card debt crisis. These factors, individually and collectively, created a perfect storm that led to the credit crunch of 2024. Excessive borrowing, low interest rates, weak financial regulation, and a lack of financial education were the main catalysts that ignited this financial disaster. The credit crunch had a profound impact on wealth transfer. The increase in credit card debt in 2024 not only sent shockwaves through financial markets, but also sparked a panic over wealth transfer. This was not just a simple game of shifting money from one pocket to another. No, it was a seismic shift that shook the foundations of our financial system, redistributing wealth on a scale unseen in decades. The credit crunch resulted in a significant redistribution of wealth, yet it wasn't an event that provided equal opportunities. There were clearly winners and losers. On one side stood financial institutions, credit card companies, and wealthy elites. They had the resources to weather the storm, and in many cases even managed to increase their wealth. On the other side were average consumers, the middle class, and small business owners. These groups were the hardest hit. They were the ones left holding the bag when the music stopped. Not only did their wealth decrease, it evaporated. Many found themselves in a financial abyss that would take years, if not decades, to climb out of. And then there were the unintended beneficiaries. Debt collectors and bankruptcy attorneys, for instance, experienced a boom in business. Let's not forget the technology companies offering financial management and budgeting practices. They saw an increase in demand as well. But perhaps the most significant impact was on younger generations. Many grappling with unprecedented levels of debt had to defer life milestones, such as buying a home or starting a family. This has profound implications for wealth transfer because it means wealth is becoming concentrated in the hands of fewer individuals. The aftermath of the credit crunch served as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of our financial system. It showed us how quickly wealth can be transferred and how devastating the effects can be for the losers. The credit crunch significantly altered the wealth landscape. What can we learn from this financial catastrophe? The credit crunch of 2024 left us with some valuable lessons. It acted as a teacher, giving us a challenging test to make us stronger and smarter. We may not appreciate our teacher right now, but in the long run, we'll be grateful for these lessons. Let's start with the importance of financial literacy. This crisis highlighted just how crucial it is to understand the basics of finance. It's not just about knowing how to calculate interest rates or understanding the difference between a credit card and a debit card. It's about navigating the vast and complex world of finance. It's about understanding your own financial situation and making informed decisions based on that understanding. It's about knowing the risks and benefits of different financial products and services and using them responsibly. This brings us to our second lesson, responsible borrowing. The credit crunch of 2024 largely stemmed from irresponsible borrowing. People were taking on more debt than they could handle, often without fully understanding the consequences. This was unsustainable and eventually led to the meltdown. Therefore, we need to remember that borrowing isn't inherently bad. It can be a useful tool to achieve our financial goals, but we must use it responsibly. We should only borrow what we can afford to repay and always have a plan in place to pay it back. Ultimately, we come to our third lesson, the need for robust financial regulation. This crisis showed us that the financial system cannot be left to its own devices. It needs oversight and regulation to prevent it from spiraling out of control. We need regulators who are vigilant, proactive, able to identify potential problems before they escalate into crises, and who can take swift and decisive action when needed. In conclusion, the credit crunch of 2024 was a painful but necessary lesson. It taught us the importance of financial literacy, responsible borrowing, and sound financial regulation. These lessons serve as reminders for future financial decision-making processes. What will happen in the future after the credit crunch? Significant changes are expected in the wealth transfer landscape and the economy as a whole. Undoubtedly, there are challenges ahead, but they also come with opportunities for growth and innovation. The key to recovery lies in urgency. The global economy has taken a hit, and rebuilding efforts will require time, resources, and most importantly, patience. As we strive to recover, there's a possibility of increased government intervention in the form of fiscal and monetary policies aimed at stabilizing the economy and restoring consumer confidence. While the increasing credit card debts pose a significant threat, they also present an opportunity to reassess our financial systems. There's a louder call for financial literacy than ever before. In the future, we might see more robust financial education programs designed to equip individuals with the knowledge to make informed financial decisions. Moreover, the increase in credit card debts may lead to a reevaluation of lending practices. There could be stricter regulations to ensure that lenders adhere to responsible lending standards. On the other hand, as companies strive to meet these new standards, this situation could spur innovation in the financial technology sector. Looking at wealth transfer, the credit crunch might potentially accelerate the transition from traditional forms of wealth transfer to more innovative models. Subsequently, as individuals seek secure and effective ways to transfer wealth, we may witness an increase in the popularity of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. Therefore, it's important to remember that the credit crunch also highlighted the importance of diversification. Looking ahead, we may see investors diversifying their portfolios more than ever before to protect themselves against future financial crises. In conclusion, while the road ahead may seem daunting, it also offers us a chance to learn, adapt, and grow. The credit crunch exposed flaws in our financial systems, but also brought to light areas that need improvement and innovation. The future is uncertain, but with knowledge and preparation, we can navigate it. We've examined the timeline, catalysts, impacts, lessons learned, and outlook for the future of the credit crunch of 2024. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key points we've discussed on our journey. We started with the unsettling question of how a credit crunch could occur. We traced the timeline of events leading to the meltdown, from irresponsible lending practices to the bubble finally bursting in 2024. We explored the catalysts contributing to the increase in credit card debt. We saw how low interest rates, the illusion of unlimited credit, and the overall lack of financial literacy among consumers played a role in creating the perfect storm. Next, we investigated the impact of the credit crunch. We witnessed how it led to a significant wealth transfer, with the rich getting richer while the middle and lower classes struggled with debt. This widespread wealth transfer exacerbated the crisis, leading to widespread panic and concern. We also discussed the lessons learned from the credit crunch. We emphasized the importance of responsible lending and borrowing, as well as the need for stronger financial education. We highlighted that while credit can be a useful tool, it must be used wisely and responsibly. Finally, we looked to the future. We pondered what steps we can take to prevent such a crisis from happening again. We discussed the need for tighter regulations on lending practices, the importance of promoting financial literacy, and the potential role of technology in mitigating future crises. In essence, the credit crunch of 2024 was a wake-up call. It served as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked credit expansion and the importance of financial literacy. It showed us that misuse of credit can exacerbate inequality and lead to panic-induced wealth transfers. But it also taught us that we have the power to prevent such a crisis from happening again by promoting responsible borrowing, improving financial education, and harnessing technology. We can create a more stable and equitable financial system. Remember, financial literacy is the key to avoiding future crises. Stay informed and stay ahead.
At our channel, we delve into financial concepts in a way that everyone can comprehend and apply. We strive to empower our viewers with actionable insights to improve their financial well-being. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave your comments to support us on this journey toward financial empowerment. Additionally, it's important to note that while we provide examples and insights, our recommendations are not intended as personalized investment advice. Each individual's financial situation and goals vary, so it's crucial to conduct thorough research and consider professional guidance before making any investment decisions.